All right. Welcome to my very first YouTube video and also the very first video in this series on how to do web development. So welcome. First thing we're going to talk about is how to get your web development environment ready. Uh, there's a few things that you have to do if you want to do back-end web development. Now, for those of you who only want to do front-end web development, all you have to have is just a code editor, and internet browsers are readily able to understand HTML. So if you just save an HTML document to your desktop, write some HTML in there, and open it up, it'll see it, work with it. You could do the same things using a content delivery network. You can even program in jQuery or JavaScript or whatever you want, and the web browser is natively set up to understand it. So this video is primarily for you folks who want to do work with back-end web development. Maybe you want to communicate or do CRUD operations in a database like MySQL. There's going to be videos for that as well. So for those of you who want to do the backend thing, let's get started. First thing I'm going to do, this is a Windows 10 environment that I'm in. So if you're in Windows 10, you want to do Internet Information Services, this is going to be the way to do it. For those of you who are looking at, doing the LAMP stack, maybe you want to do some Linux or something like that, there might be a video later on for doing that. So first thing you want to do, if you're in Windows 10, grab your Start menu, open up your Control panel, which you can just start typing Control and it'll show up. Now, the first thing you're going to see most likely is it's going to show up in these categories. Just change the category to large icons, and then go down here to Programs and Features, and then go to Turn Windows Features on or off. You're going to get a window that looks like this. So you want to scroll down till you see Internet Information Services, and this, if you don't have it installed, it will not have the little black square in there, so you just check it, and then under Web Management Tools or World Wide Web Services, under Application Developments features, you're going to want to make sure that at least CGI is checked. And I usually check. I'll just kind of expand these to show you the ones that I have checked out. The main one is going to be CGI. If you want to do some C# and stuff like that, .NET development, then there's others in here for you as well. ASP.NET 4.7 is a good one. 3.5 is, I don't think, is included in Windows 10 by default. I think I installed that later, but it might be in there. If it is, you can check it or not. But yeah, main thing, CGI. Then you're going to click OK. It's going to install it, and then to make sure that that is working, you're just going to hit your Start menu again and start typing IIS. It's going to pop up in your Start menu. Go ahead and pin it to your Start menu. Right click on it, pin it to Start, pin it to your taskbar, whatever, for easy access. As you're doing your back-end development, you're going to be in here quite a bit. So that's this is what Internet Information Services looks like. I'll show you some of the main features. One feature up here is Manage Server Restart. If you make any major changes in here, in order for those to take effect, a lot of the time Internet Information Services needs to be restarted. And so you could do it by clicking here. If you ever get into a situation where where the GUI for Internet Information Services is broken and you can't get into it, you could also restart it by opening up your Start menu, typing in CMD, make sure you run it as an admin. Once it's open, you'll want to do IIS reset, and that will stop Internet Information Services eventually, and then restart it. And hopefully that sometimes that quick reboot will give your IIS new life so that you can at least get in there and fix whatever damage you caused with whatever changes you made previously. There's a lot you can do in here. CGI is one of the things that you can do in here. You have a lot of options, not too many options for that. But anyways, first thing you're gonna want to do is go to directory browsing and hit enable. And then you're gonna want to go back out here and restart your server. Now what that does is it makes it so that if you go to type in localhost, instead of just showing you, and you can see I've got a bunch of stuff in here, you won't see all this, but instead of showing you nothing or an error, it'll show you a list of files and folders that you have stored in your web server. And that's good for development purposes. You don't want to enable this if you write something and you have a production environment, but for just developing on your local machine, it's good. It's a good feature to have. Just makes things easier and quicker. So anyways, there's that. The other kind of important ones are MIME types. So MIME types will tell you what extensions are served by IIS. One of the major ones that you're gonna want to see in there is you might want to see text, you might want to serve PDFs, something like that. MIME types is where you go. You basically say if it's this extension, then it's this kind of file, and then IIS knows that and it'll serve it for you. You can see list of folders here under the default website. You can add more websites if you want to, and that just allows you to change URLs if you need to do that. The next thing is default document. So under default document, the order here matters. Basically what happens is as soon as you enter a folder in IIS, or if you navigate to localhost and you hit a folder, Internet Information Services is going to look for, in my case, index.php first. If it doesn't find it, it's going to look for this, it's going to look for this, it's going to go so on and so forth until it finds a file in that folder that has one of these names. And that's essentially your home page or your landing page or the first page that's served in that folder. So this matters. So just remember the default document part of this. So what else was I going to tell you? Oh yeah, to get PHP running, and we'll start with PHP. This right here, Web Platform Installer, this thing is super helpful. It's kind of like NuGet for Visual Studio or something like that. It basically just it sits on top of Internet Information Services as kind of like a plug-in, and it will just automatically install a lot of stuff. So like type in PHP, it'll pop up here. As you can see, I've already done this. Typed in PHP and then hit add and then hit install, and it threw it in there for me. The same thing happens if you want MySQL Server. It's got MySQL Server or Windows 5.5. I don't recommend installing that. We're going to talk about that later on. But anyways, you can see there's just a ton of packages, a ton of things that you can do in here. Really nice, nice little package to have. And the way that you find that is usually I just type in web platform installer into Google, and it's usually like the first result or the first couple of results. So it's right here. Go to this URL, microsoft.com/web/download/platforms.aspx. Hit install this extension. It'll install it. Restart IIS using one of the methods that I showed you. And the next time you open IIS, you should see Web Platform Installer. Then go ahead and install PHP. Once you get PHP installed, restart IIS again. Then you're going to want to go visit localhost. So I'll show you one thing here. So IIS default website or default page. I just want to show you kind of what it'll look like. Maybe I need like Let's try images.google.com, and let's IIS default page. Yes, here it is. This is exactly what I'm looking for. Okay, so if you see this page when you open up localhost on your computer, then that is good. That means Internet Information Services has been installed and it is working. Okay. In order to make it so that you don't see that page, you'll need to go to C inetpub www root. Inside this, and I can show you. So like right here, and if you look here, see how these are the same, and these are the same. So basically everything that you throw into inetpub www root is going to be served by Internet Information Services because it's a part of that default website. So if you pull this up and you go to localhost, you look at these side by side, same thing. You see the same files and folders. Okay? So in order to see this and not that default web page, what you're going to want to do is you're going to jump in here and you're going to see like a default.aspx file. You're going to see something along those lines. And so you can just rename those, delete those, or move those to a different folder. And then the next time you visit localhost, you're going to see a list of files and folders if you have anything in there, or if it's empty, you're going to see basically nothing. It'll just say localhost / up here and then nothing underneath. But either way, that's how you'll be able to tell that's working. Now to test if PHP is working, what you'll want to do is create a folder inside your www root, or create a file inside your www root folder, and you can just call it test.php, as I've done. Okay, so test.php, got a little for loop in there, but it doesn't matter. So you just type in php info. You can follow along here with me if you want to, but don't worry about what this does for right now. And then save that. I didn't open it as admin because I'm a fool. But anyways, now that that's saved, you can close this, and then you're going to type localhost / test.php. You can also change that to index.php, and then it'll serve it automatically, and you won't have to type it in up here, but whatever, you can do it either way. So if you type in test.php and PHP info runs and you see this on your page, then that means congratulations, you have successfully installed PHP. So now that you've successfully installed it, this is showing you the contents, the options that are inside of a folder or inside of a file called php.ini. php.ini stores all of the options, and you have a ton of options, there's a ton of them out there, and we can't go through them all in even one video. So we'll get into some of them later perhaps, but for now just know that just about everything is in there. So the thing that you'll need to know, your loaded configuration file. In my environment, it's C program files IIS express PHP v7.2 /php ini. It's going to be either in the same place for you or somewhere different, depending on how you have PHP installed and what environment you're in. But this is important to know where this is, so that way you can make sure that you know how to get into the INI file and make changes to the PHP options. There are many different use cases where you'll want to make changes, and so that's in there. Word of advice, if before you go in there and make changes, make sure you make a copy, original copy of the file, and put it somewhere safe so that at least if you mess something up, you can put it back to the way it was and you're no worse for wear. The last thing you want to do is go in there and make like 50,000 changes and then you don't remember what you did and your server's all jacked up and you have to start all over again. Uh, there are plenty of horror stories out there you can find on the internet. Just do a quick Google search, where people are looking for their original PHP INI file, and I'm making quotations in the air as I say that, because they've they've done something and they don't remember what, and it does happen. So don't do that. Save yourself some headache. The next thing you'll want to see is where the error log is. I think PHP by default, it wants to, if there's an error, the script will die. Of course, it's set up to, die and not continue execution when it throws an exception. The exception is going to get thrown into an error log. And so, copy this value into Windows Explorer, go to the error log, copy that out, to create a shortcut from it to your desktop. Now, of course, you'll open up that error log. If you have errors in your code, it'll show them to you in a big list. You can totally delete everything in the list and then save the file and start all over if you want to. Um, Usually I'll empty it out at the beginning of a project, just so, I can keep it straight in my head, like this error that I'm getting has to do with this project that I'm working on, and not something else I was doing. Um, So it's good to have. If your script stops executing, you can just go open this real quick and take a look at what errors you're having. So if you can get this far, that's good. You're ready to start kind of full stack programming. The next part is going to be talking about, or the next part of this would be installing some kind of a database software like MySQL. That's a whole can of worms in itself, so we'll get into that later. But for now, thanks for watching.